So welcome to today's Gold Coast Muso's Jam Chat, and today we've got a few people here with us. Well, they're not here just yet, but they're going to be here in a shortly. Here we go. So first up, we have Pete. How you going, Sir Pete?
Very well indeed. Doug, how are you?
Yeah, good to see you again, sir. And I hear that you're a little bit famous of sorts.
Well, no, it's only a rumour, and it's a rumour that I started, of course, and it's fanning out across the country as we speak.
Okay, fair enough. But on a serious note, are we allowed to say that you work in movies and stuff, or not really?
Yeah, you're allowed to. You're not allowed to mention any of the current ones, but I have been in a couple in the past, over the last few years, which I really enjoyed. The industry, when it comes to the Gold Coast, is a fabulous fun.
Yeah.
Hard work, but fabulous fun.
Yeah, well, I guess you're only acting, right? It's not really that hard work, is it?
Well, no, it's not hard. I just be myself, which is just... I don't know how you even explain that one, but I'm pretty low. I'm a low level extra, but I can have a lot of fun doing it.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we add the other guys in. So here we go. Steve, how you going, sir?
Not too bad, mate.
Good to see you. We'll add Doug.
Hey, how you going, everyone?
We have one more guest. Here we go. Ray Lee, how you going?
Hey. Woohoo.
Oh, I think you've lost audio there, Ray Lee. You must be on mute. Or maybe you need to speak louder to the microphone. Oh, you are on mute.
You are on mute.
Just speak. There we go.
Better?
There we go. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Yes.
So who are we up to in the introductions? We may as well go, Ray. You can go first. Ladies first. So what have you been up to?
Did some songwriting today. APRA songwriting did sort of like a pairing of people to do songwriting. So that was today. I think they're calling it 1, 2, 3 lockdown or something like that. So it's one song, 2 co-writers, 3 hours. So got started on a new song and just been hanging out with the kids and doing music from home.
Oh, very good. Very good. Yeah. And Steve, what about yourself? What have you been doing this week?
Same as last week. Not a lot. No, I actually did sneak a bit of guitar playing in today, which I shouldn't have, but anyway, it's all good.
Right, with the arm and stuff. And you got a new toy there, don't you? You got a new toy?
I got a lot of new toys, man.
I mean, musically related. What do you got there? You got a smoke machine, mate?
Oh, yes, fire. I got a smoke machine.
Oh, my God.
That's a highlight set up in the background here.
Oh, wow.
He's in the movie business too.
Yeah, I bet he is. I bet he is. And what about Doug? What have you been up to, Doug?
I personally haven't been up to much, but my daughter had my first granddaughter this week. So
congratulations!
Congratulations!
Yeah, it's very exciting. Very exciting.
Well done.
Young Delilah Ray came in at 8 pound 10 ounces or something or other on Monday evening. Exactly. Wow. She's beautiful, of course. She's a cutie. Other than that, not too much. I changed my strings to 11s, went from 10s to 11s this week, and I'm trying to love them, but still giving me a bit of jib. But
and do you like it or not?
Some of it I do. It's the tone. It's lost a bit of tone, which I thought it would actually gain a bit of tone. So I'm getting some brighter strings on their way. I've ordered some, but playability is pretty good. It's a bit chunkier and a bit more sustained. So I'll see how we go. Yeah,
wow. Do you have you? Then there's Terry. There you go. Terry BMac is offering $5 to check out their page. Okay, thanks, Terry. Have you watched that video by I can't remember his name, but they actually investigated the why does BB King use 8s, and it's because with the energy that goes in it is actually there's no loss in the energy. It's actually you get a better sound with lighter gauge string.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, just putting it out there. I'm not saying it.
Because Billy Gibbons is down to 7s or something stupid like that, I think. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, so I'm just playing around. Yeah.
Soon he'll have an air guitar if it gets any lighter.
That's
Might be snapping 7s, mate, like tomorrow.
Yeah, right. You can't use it as fencing wire, can you?
Well, Clapton was famous for breaking them. Was it that because he had 2 lighter strings or something? That's how he got his slow hand name.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Just always chasing Tone.
I'll ring him.
Well, you're the famous one, man. You're the movie
That's
star,
right.
so you know.
Well,
Right.
yeah. Well, I ring other famous people. He used to be he was quite famous for breaking strings in the early days, and that's why they call him Slow Hand, because he'd go off stage to change the string, the squeaky one at the bottom, the one. Yeah. And
that's very, very scientific of you, Pete. Yeah.
And so the audience would start a slow clap to get him back on stage, and that's how that slow hand.
Okay.
Thing
okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, the story started well, Pete. Anyway, I think you're going to work on your delivery of your monologues, man, for your movie acting.
Translated nicely. It was translated nicely for drummers.
Yeah.
So
the squeaky one at the bottom.
Yeah. All the drummers will understand what I'm saying.
Actually, I was just saying to Pete, years ago, I actually was a movie extra, and a couple of things I guess I can say, because I'm actually not under contract right now. I was on Flipper. I was not impersonating the dolphin, for anyone who was going to ask, but I had to walk out on this jetty thing and be surprised that there was a dolphin, and of course it was like a wide shot, so you just see the back of my head or a hat or something. I don't know. You can't really tell it was me. It was just some random. But what they did is they threw a bottle in the water, so it looked like the dolphin was splashing, and I had to be excited. And another one was Medivac. I think his name was Gary Willis back in the day. I can't remember his name, but anyway, I had to go to South Bank. I'm just keep inventing words all the time. But an act surprise that someone died on the ground and all that kind of stuff. So it was like, oh no, and everyone had to rush around and form a big circle on cue. What's that? Sorry.
Watch out, movie star.
Oh no, this is years ago. And actually, another thing I did, as I was telling the guys backstage, is because I could play guitar, I actually got asked to do some state government adverts for the arts back in the day, and it was really funny because I was there with my sister, and we plug in and have this massive roaring sound check, and it was awesome, ready to go. And as soon as the director gets on set, he goes, "Okay, guys, can we do this again, please, but with no noise?" I was like, why would you want it with no noise? Except because he could, run the dolly over a little bit left, harder, yet that's it, zoom in, cool. And he was like, it sounded like a race caller, I mean, it's funny. These days, I guess they could do it all with an iPhone, but back in those days, they ran out the, what do you call the dolly on the train track? I don't have no idea. Friend of mine still does films. He shoots Toyota ads and all that kind of stuff. And not that means anything, but it's just funny, the things you used to do. Anyone else have any acting experience?
I was on a movie film before they shut it down.
You were what?
They're filming a new Elvis bio-documentary film.
Isn't Tom Hanks in that one?
Well, yeah, but it's been shut down. I think they'll reopen it, but yeah.
Were you in it, or were you Elvis?
Yes, I was kissing Elvis.
Oh my God, details. All right. Wow.
Right, I think it was the day before they shut down. I was like, well, that's a good way to spread COVID, is just start kissing everyone.
What? So were you being serious? Were you involved with that, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm still learning the line of sarcasm where you.
But yeah, that was my first extras gig on the Gold Coast, acting spot. I used to do it when I was a kid. I was in the NXS. Have you seen the NXS miniseries?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm in that one.
What were you? Who were you in that one?
I was a club goer when the guy from NXS met Kylie Minogue at the club. You
should know the guy from NXS's name.
Yes.
I haven't seen it. I was in it, but I haven't seen it.
Michael Hutchins.
Had you had your outfit and your hair allocated as well before it all got shut down?
Yeah. Did all that stuff.
What hair did you have? Because it's all 60s and 70s. What hairstyle did you have?
The hair's 60s and 70s, just massive. I mean, technically, I signed a non-disclosure, but then I got fired, so I don't think it counts anymore.
How did you get fired?
Well, because it got shut down. They fired everyone. It got shut down for COVID. Yeah. So, I mean,
it wasn't so much. I don't think it was so much being fired. It was sort of on very, very, very long standby because at some stage,
the main actors would have been on standby, but the rest of it, we're all just
It's probably on lay-by now, not standby.
Yeah, lay-by.
They ain't being paid, so.
Yeah, well, there you go. Hey, so you were in that one too. There you go. Did you get to go to wardrobe? Did you have to get outfitted or fitted out?
Yeah, they're doing all that sort of like hair, makeup, but it was all rehearsal stuff. They didn't film. They hadn't got to filming stage yet.
No.
Yeah, they're still creating the sets and stuff. When I was there, it was like a half built set that we're rehearsing on.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is that something you're going to pursue again in the future?
I love all art, performing art. So I've always loved drama. I love acting. So whenever an opportunity pops up, I usually jump on board. Yeah. As long as it's, something that I can buy into myself.
Fair enough. That's good.
Yeah.
I would think if they start up again, you'll get a call because I think if you've gone to the stage of hair and makeup, they know what you're about. They've got your photos and all of that sort of stuff. So when they're ready to go, they'll be quite keen to move. I'm pretty sure they're
You want it 2 p.m.
Yeah, they're very keen to certainly keep the local people on the go. We're Gold Coast people usually.
I'm the Gold Coast, I'm Ormeau, so I'm just up the road.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's what they like. So keep your phone ready because they'll ring you.
Well, I'm not doing anything else at the moment, so.
No, neither am I.
Were you in the band or?
No, I'm just an extra.
Okay, yeah. So have you done your hair and makeup and stuff? I don't know.
Yeah.
Wardrobe.
Hair, makeup.
Yeah, can't you tell?
Yeah, did it myself. And moustache.
I heard one for hair and makeup, and she had long hair like mine, and they cut it off and gave her a bob cut.
Oh no!
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, I would have gone home and got a divorce. My husband always said he'd divorce me if I cut my hair. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, they never asked me for a haircut back in my day.
But the 60s styles for women were fantastic, and so were the clothes.
Yeah.
If you go back to that era, it's fabulous. It's short skirts and boots and pink and lime and big hairs and
starting to worry about your feet.
Yeah, I love it. Even
it's cleavage city.
Are you actually dressing as a woman then, Pete? You seem to know a lot about
I
it.
think so.
You've been practicing your makeups.
Oh my god!
Let's talk about music.
Nah, this was more exciting.
Actually, I auditioned to be one of the backup singers as well for the same role, but they picked someone else. They said they wanted me to be one of the screaming fans. Yeah. Yep.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to be the drummer, but no, Elvis never had a drummer that looked like me.
There was a drummer on stage when I was there.
Yeah, not
like
like me.
Not like you. Before his time. Yeah. Okay.
And as you know, in that business, it's got nothing to do with your sparkling personality. It's all about your look and what they want for that look. And it's serious stuff. They really micromanage the look.
I did a lot of modelling when I was younger in Melbourne before kids, and you have to get really used to rejection. And it's doesn't mean that you're no good. It's just they're looking for something specific, and if you don't have it, and that's just that.
Yep.
No different to music, is it?
No, that's right.
It's no different, is it? It's like they're looking for a particular sound, and you can either deliver it or you can't. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
Mm.
So maybe if we even go around and ask who knows what about Elvis. Maybe Doug first. Oh, we got another guest.
Oh, Troy.
Hey, how we going, brother?
Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, good to see you too.
How you going?
Yeah, good. Just having one of these.
There we go. I'm interested in Steve Nichols' modelling career. There we go.
Do tell.
You're together. My hubby's a
a lot of good stories.
Okay, so maybe Doug, if you want to go first, what do you know about Elvis? Do you like Elvis, and what do you rate about him?
Tell you, Elvis, I never really got into, but the stuff I do like was the 69 comeback special, where they're all sitting on that square block in the middle of the audience, and he's in his voice, and that was, I thought, awesome. But I don't know much about Elvis other than.
That was 68, Doug.
68, was it? Well, I was close. Thanks, Troy. That's about all I know. I got it wrong.
I went on a family holiday to the Snowy Mountains in 1982, right? And in the old Kingswood, HJ Kingswood, Dad had 3 cassette tapes for the entire trip. One of them was Elvis's 68 special, so I know that entire album, like. Everything, even the talking bits in between, everything, you know. And he had that. He had another one. He had another one called Rock and Roll Heaven, and 1982 with the Bullet. And I know every single song, every single lyric. It was just drilled into us over 2 weeks.
So you're not a fan. It was like forced fanage.
I love it.
Fan forced. And what about you, Steve? What do you think about Elvis? And what do you like? What do you rate him on?
Mate, I grew up with him in the house. My dad was a vocalist, and he was a huge Elvis fan, so that was quite common being pumped in the house. Pavarotti is one of his other favourites. Like, it's just, man, he was smooth. He was really smooth. And the worst thing about him is that it's about marketing, and he basically sold out, or was kind of forced to sell out, I think, instead of sticking to his roots. Because a lot of the later stuff was not cool. And, I think too, what actually happened to him with health-wise, that was just terrible.
I think it's what happens with labels and management and other people trying to take advantage of artists.
Yeah, shape you into something what they think you should be. I like his really early stuff before he was actually big, and that's raw, and that's just that's what I like. But how's this, man? Like, my old man, there was two particular songs, Elvis songs, he would always sing, and when my dad passed away probably about 14 years ago now, and he passed away in Sydney, and I was up here, and the night that he passed away, hours before I actually found out, I was lying in bed and I could hear this Elvis song. It was in my dream. Someone was singing it to me, and then I get the phone call that Dad had passed away. And man, that's just really trippy. So at the funeral they played that song, and it was pretty surreal.
Which one was it?
Now you got me on the spot. I can't even sing it at the moment.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, it's all good. Actually, Christine sang it the other day. Actually, she played and sang it on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually thanked her. But yeah, mate, that's for me. Elvis was always in the house when I was growing up.
And what about you, Troy? What's your? Do you rate Elvis as an artist?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Before I turned grey, I mean, I was a spitting image of Elvis when I was clean shaven, and the big swoopy, dark.
So was I.
Even got a bit of a spear, you know. But
Me too.
I mean, I'm when I was only 4 years old when he passed. But I grew up in in a house that my mum absolutely adored him. My dad thought he was Elvis. I've got
what a great dad.
It's funny. Dad's got like a full LP collection still at home. His LP collection is just incredible. And he still plays it on the old Chrysler wooden, stereogram or radiogram.
Wow, that's cool.
So he's got probably a collection of about 30 or 40 Elvis albums, original albums. Even going back, and hey, guess what? I'm the only heir to that, so I'll get them eventually.
Cool.
Absolute gold.
Yeah, he's got an original copy of. It's funny, when I was a kid, moving away from Elvis just briefly, he's a mad Creedence fan, and he's got an original Cosmos Factory album there that as a kid, you just could not touch it. You weren't allowed to touch it. You weren't anywhere near it, and the thing's just still pristine. That's how Dad was with his music, with his complete collection. So, but yeah, Elvis for me was pretty much my childhood. So that was it.
And
it's my go-to karaoke song. Come on, it's my go-to karaoke song because they're ingrained in here.
Yes. So we'll save Peter for. And what about Ray Lee? Has Elvis influenced you as an artist?
Probably not.
Oh.
Because my parents never played. Like, my parents played a lot of Christian hymns and stuff. They're older, but I worked at a club in Melbourne, like a cocktail bar underneath the Marriott in the city, and it closed at 3 a.m. And the way that they told us that it was pack-up time was they'd play an Elvis song at 3 a.m. So we all, start last drinks, everyone out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like when someone says Elvis, I go back to, right, it's time to pack up and stop drinking. But
oh, well.
Maybe I did a bit of research, and I love his older stuff. So I love like Blue Moon and Blue Christmas, and a lot of those sort of more soul R&B songs.
And okay, that's good. And what about Pete? How has Elvis influenced you as an artist?
A lot.
And a movie star.
I absolutely love the man and his music from a very young age, and my parents were into classical music, but my father, in his wisdom, used to buy me records when he went overseas. He used to travel a fair bit. And so I got Elvis albums when I was young. I also got, Blues Brothers albums and, early Cream albums as well. So I was blessed with, a cross-section of some of the most fantastic music ever. But Elvis, I think there's a big story to be told. There's a lot of people that don't know the Elvis story, and Steve, alluded to some of it before. And I think it's going to be a great story if it comes out in this movie. It'll be just absolutely fantastic. It's awfully irresponsible of him to die, because I wish he was still here today. And there'll be a story behind his death. He didn't listen to the right people. Fame and money and bloody, drug, sex and rock and roll, all done that. That's boring. But he could have still been here with us, and him and Prince and people like this. It's just awful that the business chooses a few of these people up and takes them from us. And I wish he was still here today. I love the man.
Well, I actually got to go over when I went to Memphis. I got to go to Graceland. I knew someone who hooked me up at the Gibson factory, and they said, "Oh, while you're here, let's go to Graceland." And right now, you have to actually go through the ghetto and just duck so you don't get shot at just before you get to Graceland. And Graceland is actually named after the original estate owner. Anyway, it was mind-blowing because I got to have like the after-hours VIP tour. Obviously, I know the music, but getting to know Elvis as a business head blew my mind. And walking up to the house, and the first room is this massive pool table. And so back then there was like a big, measuring situation. If you want to do business with Elvis, you have to be able to hold your own playing pool, So I was like, oh, wow. And then I remember distinctly going through the front door, turning right and going downstairs, because he's right into his meditation and he's very, very progressive. He had this room called the TCB room, and I actually bought a little token. It's actually on my fridge, and this is actually inspiration for me all the time. It's called Taking Care of Business. I kid you not, if you go to Graceland, he had the whole ceiling is actually mirrored, and he has this massive couch. It was just out of control for the 70s. It should have been in some kind of other movie. However, he would he would, you know, when he's thinking about his deal, you know, business deals or whatever, he would sit back and look at the ceiling. So, of course, you know, I sat in the spot and all this kind of stuff, blah, 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 and went through the whole house. In the jungle room, what I really, really liked is he had these, like, immersion rooms. I mean, these days, I mean, this is what the Gold Coast Muso's jam. It's a room that is immersive. You get in and you play with others like-minded people. So
Yeah.
Google today have immersion rooms. This guy was ahead of his game for creating a culture for lateral-minded thinking back in the day. And anyway, so you go through the house. The kitchen was really cool. And then anyway, you go back out to the stables, blah, 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 blah. He had his own personal rifle range shooting. But he was right into his martial arts, you know, and back then Bruce Lee was an affiliate of some sort, which was totally cool. And he did his whole martial arts thing and back around to the pool. Anyway, so I did that tour, and the funny thing was the aeroplane. He had his own private jet, as most rock stars do, I guess. And the bed, there was a bed on this private jet. This sounds ridiculous, it's true. He had one big seatbelt that goes over everyone in bed. You know, it's like, what the hell? How does that work? You know, so I'm sure it was probably undone a lot. However, Graceland, I didn't get to go to Never Neverland, but Michael Jackson was heavily influenced by Elvis. He had Never Neverland replicating Graceland, you know, and Elvis was the king of rock, you know, rock and roll, and Michael Jackson was the king of pop. You know, so there was a lot of business structure duplicated. And anyway, another thing I did get to go to was Sun Records. So I don't know if you guys know about Sun Records.
Yep.
So Sun Records started it in this really rectangular room. It was the first recording that Elvis ever did. They've still got the same room with the same... we lost Steve again. Yeah, just very, very inspirational. I should get some photos and post them up. And Johnny Cash's career was born there, so you get to stand in the same spot, and you know. Anyway, I know I'm just talking about my little information gathering.
It's funny, Doug. You talk about you know, Elvis's martial arts, and you know, I suppose he pretty much shaped my, you know, first probably 25 years of my life, you know, around martial arts. I mean, he was a karate exponent. He was you know, he was very, very, very good. He was a karate instructor. I took up karate because Elvis did karate.
Yeah,
you know,
Chuck Norris and all that. Yeah.
So I haven't you know, I haven't practiced for many years, but you know, I reached a third Dan black belt because Elvis did karate. You know,
That's cool.
I spent 14 years of my life doing it. You know, initially because, you know, this is something that the king did, and you know, something I really enjoyed. So. Unfortunately, I haven't been stretching a lot lately, so it makes things a little difficult.
Fair enough. But I think also
on the movie sets and stuff, and I think a lot of them did that sort of stuff to be in the movies.
Absolutely.
Because I guess there's a lot of downtime right in between shoots.
Now I'm going to disappear just for a quick thing. Leave me on. I'm just going to go and grab something because it's funny you're talking about Elvis, and I've got to grab it and show you. You can all have a laugh. You can all have a laugh at me.
Okay, cool. I'll just pull you from the feed for a sec.
Show and tell would be good, Doug.
Yeah. Well, I will. I don't know where the photos are now, but I love going to where it happened. Even on that same trip, I got to go to. I think I said this in another segment. Went to Arden Studios. And, you know, Led Zeppelin 3 was recorded there. I was standing in the same room where Jimmy Page was like, oh, yeah, this sounds all right. And I was like, oh, you know, fanboy. But, you know, I guess we all have those moments.
I really wanted to go up to Memphis last year, but I just didn't get a chance. It was 3 hours away from Nashville, and I was only there for 10 days. So, yeah, I just didn't have the time.
Soft.
so much to do. But, yeah, it's definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, this is all born out of Peter.
Well, I and I don't mean to be derogatory of anybody else, but I began to move away from mainstream music about 1990, to tell you the truth.
Because you like Nirvana.
who are they? Yeah, the
About 1978 for me, Pete.
yeah. Well, there you go. And you've got to understand when I make that comment, I'm not being derogatory at all, but I lived through, the 60s and 70s into the 80s that had them, and I could give you a list of them. There's, Beatles, Joe Cocker, Rolling Stones, Elvis Presley, Eric Clapton. That's just a start. If I really work, look at that.
Oh wow, who made that? Sorry, Pete.
I knitted it.
What?
I knitted it when I was about 13 years old.
Because you're an Elvis fan.
Yeah,
That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Well done.
Jeez, you're a bloody big 13-year-old, that's for sure.
He knitted it for his family.
I was planning ahead. It's too embarrassing if I said I did it last week.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's not a bad likeness there.
Yeah, well done.
Can I do a show and tell? I want. Did Doug Marston? Did you have a input into Elvis Presley? I want to know if he affected your life at all.
No, not really. I remember sitting. I remember sitting at school and a teacher coming in and telling us that he had died, and sort of being quite shocked by it. But he was always there, but he wasn't a guitarist, so no. Well, not much of a guitarist anyway.
I
play guitar, but yeah,
when you got a voice like his, you don't need to play guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I loved his live at Hawaii. If you get a chance to grab the DVD of that, have a look. It still stands up today. The caliber of the musicians is fantastic. Even the sound is fantastic. The drummer is just makes you want to stop drumming. He's so good. Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah. Even the whole Elvis band thing, the famous line, Elvis has left the building, was born out of Elvis is in the building. And the reason why Elvis was in the building, because his band actually invented sound checking, because before they used to set up and play. And because the PAs weren't so big, they didn't really have any problems because he was so famous back then and the venue's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. If it wasn't for Elvis, all the technical people wouldn't actually worry about having a sound check. So he was so progressive on the other side of the microphone. And even in, he was the birth of the, the animated frontman who influenced so many other people around the scene and, having... look,
it's funny, mate. Like on a lot of the American TV shows at the time, they would only film him from above the waist up.
Right.
Because they didn't want the housewives getting out of control.
Too risky.
Is that why you're doing that to me?
That's right. There you go, mate. Now's your chance. Where's your hips? Where's your hips?
Yeah, no, not a chance, mate. I need a few more beers.
All right. Yeah, so yeah.
For instance, the two songs, man, I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. That was one my dad used to sing all the time, and I still hear that quite a bit. It's just freaky. Wow. Man, his voice was phenomenal. Just smooth.
And the other thing that's kind of cool is the Colonel, his manager per se. They had to work in conjunction. And for someone to be in business, especially in the arts, and to be the top of their game for how long? They were making, career deciding decisions. Did I make up a new term?
And you're a teacher?
Yes, I should be. But I'm just saying,
the English part, mate.
Yeah. But my point is they have to have. This is why he was so into having his whole Zen and theme immersion rooms, and etc. To, sort of find some kind of balance to make those decisions. Because if you make a wrong decision, it could be a commercial unsuccessful situation and lose.
Yeah, but he was very reliant on Tom Parker, who Tom Hanks actually plays in the movie. My friend Tom Hanks plays in the movie, and and Parker was very influential. Tom Parker was very influential in his life and signed him to all of those movies, which he didn't want to do. And there were a number of reasons why. I hope that comes out in the movie. It was very. Oh, here's Fiona.
I've got an Elvis story. Story. I played in a tribute band, an Elvis Presley tribute band, in front of, it was at a fundraiser for Joe Esposito and his wife, which was Elvis's right-hand man.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Name dropper.
Yeah.
You can leave now, Pete.
Yeah.
See you, Pete.
Pete, if you could
Wait,
just
next
go.
Anyway,
What year was that, darling?
2011.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
This decade.
Yeah,
Well,
so
last decade.
He came to the Gold Coast.
He was on the Gold Coast, yeah. Anyway, bye.
Oh.
Nice to
Oh,
see
really?
you.
See ya.
Bye.
There you go.
Love you,
Yeah,
heaps.
so
Yeah, those
Yeah,
movies, Pete. He didn't want to do those, and unfortunately, contract had no option.
yeah, but very successful.
About it.
It's funny, like Elvis, you were saying before, Doug, like he was a bit of a pioneer in what he does, but you kind of look at the different mediums that were available at the time, and like television was quite
Taking
new,
off.
when he was coming through. So you kind of look at it compared to artists today who are utilising obviously the internet and technology and that kind of stuff. And I mean, at the time, he was in movies, he was utilising television, he was utilising the airwaves, he was utilising every single medium that was available to him at that time. Probably one of the most, across. There was a lot of people who followed in that, but he was probably one of the more pioneers that actually tapped into all of that. And they were the mediums that touched everyone at that time. So if you're likening to someone today, it's someone who's basically, who's a recording artist, who's out there on Instagram, who's doing this, who's doing that, who's trying to touch as many points, I suppose, as possible. I mean, Elvis was probably the first one that actually did that. So, yeah.
And I think also too that coming back to that point of Elvis has left the building, he was pioneered the fact of the quick getaway car. A lot of musicians still do that now. Thank you very much. Cool. Straight out of the back, get out of the way, get out, straight into your car and gone. So.
I missed out on one of his Harleys. Actually, it was for sale here on the Gold Coast about 4 years ago.
Oh.
And it was one of many, obviously, that he bought and gifted and that kind of stuff that they actually traced back. It was one of the little mechanic shops down there near Ormo, and it was for sale, and I missed it by about 2 hours.
Wow. Ray Lee's got it at Ormo. Ray Lee's got it.
Yeah, probably did. Yeah, you've got it, haven't you? You've got it.
Yeah, my huge backyard.
Oh wow, that's cool, man. This is all born out of Pete. This is your fault, mate. So.
Oh no, you're a very good picker of topics and moving it along. But it is an interesting topic, and as I say, I think this movie will bring out a lot of what we've been talking about. And there's a lot behind Elvis and his life, and it's a fascinating story. So let's hope the movie gets done later this year.
Yeah, because even at Sun, hey Carol, even at Sun Studios, they recorded the first distorted guitar, and how that came about is some dude had a amp. He was running late for his recording session. He had an amp on the car roof, and I don't know if it was exposed to weather during the drive. It fell off, speaker cone broke, and so as the paper cone torn around.
Yeah,
and as he tried to play a clean sound, that was like the birth of distortion. Next thing you know, they're making preamps, and even the Johnny Cash thing where they put the paper through the strings to get that percussive. they pioneered that at Sun Studios. You know, it's like, this is cool. This, so much. Yeah. That's where I got the elbow idea. No, just kidding. Just kidding. No. So, yeah, but I guess, you know, pushing forward, that you have to be different and be proud of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's quite a few early guitar players, I mean, that were actually cutting cones to give them a distorted sound. Oh, I think it's bizarre.
I think probably people do that now and they get different kind of sounds.
It all sounds good after you cut the cones.
Or they get banned from a pub, don't they, too?
Oh, right. Fair enough. Yeah. So, Troy, did Elvis motivate you owning Harleys, or?
No, not really. No, it was certainly something. It was probably something I knew about. I knew he was obviously he was a car nut. He was look. I think he was an everything nut. You know, it was one of those things. He was probably the first person that had that meteoric rise to fame, and you know, like. Yeah, it was funny. It was only probably about 4 or 5 years ago when I actually saw a photo of him. Everyone knows the story and everyone knows the thing, but you know, I hadn't put two and two together. And I mean, like, his first track was recorded in like 1954, I think it was. Yeah, by 1957, you know, there's a photo of him, and I'd never seen the photo before. And it was 1957, and he's standing at the front of Grassroots. You know, like, a lot of people think that it took him a while to get there, but it was just so quick. You know, and you know, he's like a modern day NRL player, you know, that basically has nothing and all of a sudden gets a major contract, and then has massive amounts of wealth, and no way to spend it. And you know, like, a lot of what he did, you know, he spoiled the people around him. He spoiled his band members. He spoiled, you know, his family. He spoiled his friends. And you know, like, and then it just spiraled out of control. You know, like, it's not dissimilar to what we see, you know, in other areas where people just get sudden wealth very, very quickly, and they really don't know what to do with it. And you know, he come from such a humble family and a humble, you know, basically nothing, and then you know, pretty much overnight he had the world at his feet. And you know, and I suppose that's part of the downfall, you know. And you know,
it's the lever that got him, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, and lever. Yeah.
So, do you have a few jumpers, Troy? Or?
No, mate, it was actually Anne Margaret. You know, you know, Anne Margaret was the one that got me in.
Oh, there we go. The late
Anne Margaret.
Oh,
he was in a few of his films.
Yeah, oh well, he was in a bit more than just a few of the films. Yeah, but you know, like, yeah, but you know, it was one of those things where, you know, he had the world at his feet. He had people falling over himself to be in his films, to, you know, to be involved with him, to be part of that, and you know, an absolute superstar and unprecedented at the time, and he pretty much wrote the, you know, I suppose the blueprint for what people really wanted to be, whether they wanted to associate with Elvis or not. He was the king. So, you know, ultimately people as whether they're performers, whether they're doing things in life, you know, it's the rags to riches story. Probably you know, the most prominent one that we've ever seen. You know, so
yeah.
There's another part to Elvis which is interesting too. He was huge, and he was also huge doing other people's songs, as opposed to a lot of, if you want to look at his competition of the day, who were singer-songwriters or bands writing their own stuff. But he was able to survive and be as huge as he was by not being a writer, not necessarily, you know, having hits of his own songs, but having hits of what other people wrote. Very hard to do. There's not too many people who can do that. Joe Cocker's about the only one I think of.
Yeah. And for most of his career, being a guitarist, he could only play 4 chords. You know. So.
That's right. Oh, I know how he feels.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, you know, that's me. I can't even play 2. You know.
4's one too many.
I'm halfway there.
And Marshall just added there that the late Bruce Jackson was #1 sound engineer for Elvis, and also Elvis's personal pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you said there, Troy, about he did what he only knew best to spend money on the people that was close to him, to keep it nice and tight.
That's how it started. It was, buying his mum a pink Cadillac, and then he went,
still
I
there.
bought her a pink. Yeah, and he goes, I bought mum a pink Cadillac, and he bought about 40 more, just to give to other people. And like I said, he didn't know how to spend the money. So he went, what I've done, hey, that made someone smile, so I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm going to keep doing it. And that was the same with the motorcycles. Like, he probably had about 100, 200 Harleys that he bought and just gifted to his, to his band members, to his roadies, to his friends, to his, because it made people smile. That's he made that much money that he just didn't know what to do with it, that's where people kind of think, like he spiraled out of control, and yes, he did this and he did that, but at the end of the day, his heart was in the right place.
Yeah.
But do you blame him for getting out of control, like being so young, going straight to the military, coming straight out, and instant superstar, Just
oh God, no.
When do you have downtime? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. Like he was America's bad boy. And as everyone said before, as Steve said, falling from the waist up because he was provocative. But everyone wanted to be like him. As much as it was bad, everyone wanted to be like him. So,
wow.
As I did, but I actually probably lasted longer than he did, and I went greyer before he did. So,
so do you? Who did you like loving after Elvis passed away?
Me, look, I was really live streaming publicly right now. So this is Gene Pitney. Actually, I was a big Gene Pitney fan. That came from my mum. Mum was she was probably the ultimate Gene Pitney groupie. That was pretty much side by side along that, and that type of music. Just because someone dies doesn't mean your love for them doesn't die. So
yep. That's good. That's inspiring.
Yeah. So and it was one of those it was one of those things like my music taste as a child was actually quite different. And I just followed what my parents liked. Always been, like I said earlier, Fred and Clearwater Revival's probably been, in my head since I can remember, and they are timeless songs. If those albums were released today, people would be, downloading them off iTunes like you wouldn't believe. Like it's timeless music, So CCR is probably, when you think, Elvis is one of those things we talk about. We go, yes, he leads you to different types of music. Something like CCR, like I can put that on right now and just crank it, and crank album after album after album.
And what about Ray Lee? Maybe being the youngest, who did you look up to then? If it wasn't Elvis,
for music
influence.
Yeah.
I want to be a rock star. Yeah. Steve
I
Nicol or no?
I look up to Steve Nicol.
He's looking up to you right now.
Sorry, Riley, you go.
I really liked Amy Winehouse.
Yep.
Yeah, and I listened to I actually listened to a lot of classical because I studied science and human health, and so I actually listened to a lot of Bach and Mozart growing up while I was studying because I was such a nerd. And then I listened to loads of hymns and like old gospel music. So the stuff that Elvis used to listen to, what he listened to, not what he played. But yeah, it's a good question actually, because I wasn't really allowed to. I was very sheltered. I wasn't allowed to listen to much like radio. That was all in secret, you know. So and it was all 90s Backstreet Boys. And I know you probably want to cringe at that, but yeah, it was like 90s hot stuff. You know, like Britney Spears. I was like, I don't know if I really look up to her, but that was what was kind of big when I was a kid, you know.
Oh.
So,
but human health and Amy Winehouse, they're mutually exclusive, Bradley. What do you know?
so my I come from, I had a lot of child abuse, which I didn't deal with when I was a kid, but it was all internalized. Oh. So I think I identified with the pain and suffering that she kind of expressed through her music, which it made me feel maybe not so alone and isolated in what I was going through. Yeah. And I hadn't shared that with anyone until I became a mum like 7 years ago and dealt with that. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but that's probably why I related to her. I loved her sound. I loved that old soul, jazz, blues, gospel-y sound. And then just the pain and the suffering that she represented through her music was really honest.
Yeah, she's cool. She was cool.
Yeah.
I've just got Don Nichols in the background, so I might have to tag team someone out if that's all right.
Yeah, mate, I'll jump out. I'll let him go. Yeah.
Okay, man. Well, good to see you, sir. Thank you for showing your jumper. I'm wondering if you've got a collection of jumpers, mate. You might be a secret knitter.
It's Steve. Thanks for sending the link through, mate. I appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome, brother.
You have to wear that. You have to wear that, Troy, next time we go for a Harley ride, mate.
Oh, yeah. Don't know about that, mate.
Fair enough. I'll see you soon, sir.
Take care.
See you, mate.
Bye.
Pull in there, and we put Don on. There we go. Hey, Don.
Hey, Doug. How are you?
Hey. Good to see you, sir. What's been happening?
Excellent. Oh, plenty. Yeah, plenty been going on. Yeah. It's been pretty crazy work-wise. And, starting to work on some tunes, actually, with Doug. We're starting to play around with some stuff, recording and sharing some files. So it's interesting getting this isolation thing happening and what that's doing for us from a creative side of things. So it's kind of probably kicked a couple of things along for me creatively. So it's good. Yeah, that part of it's been really positive, I think.
Yeah, right. And with the you don't have a jumper on as well at the moment, do you? With it's been knitted.
Nothing crocheted at this present time.
I was impressed with Troy's work. That was amazing.
Planning, I'm sure I could, you know. Yeah.
Yes. Very inspirational. Yeah. And so we were actually talking about Elvis, actually. So, and we're just talking about his influence on, you know, maybe if you've been exposed to it through your pop culture growing up. And
yep, sure.
Yeah. Maybe
look, my mum was into some pretty much easy listening, but two things she did listen to outside of that was, so, you know, Engelbert Humperdinck and stuff like that I'm all good for, but she did listen to a little bit of Elvis and some Beatles as well, so that was kind of a nice way in to getting an introduction at least into Elvis's music. But yeah, I was just listening into you talking about energy of certain performers, and I guess people that inspired me a little bit to perform. And certainly Doc Newsom was one for me for many years, who had this energy that he brought to a show that was pretty unique. So he was definitely somebody who made me want to get out and be a rock and roll star. You really captivated an audience when he was doing his thing, and when that band was firing back in the day was pretty inspiring. So yeah, that was definitely somebody for sure. And another guy called Tyrone Coates, who you may or may not have heard of. He's an Aussie singer, was vocalist in a band called The Bombers, which is sort of late 80s period. One of the guys from Status Quo was in the band, and actually, funnily enough, one of the guys from the Angels. But yeah, huge voice, and again, really engaging to watch live. So he's a guy I learnt my chops from a fair bit over the years, fortunately enough. And yeah, man, just huge energy live.
Yeah, wow, that's sensational, man. So Elvis didn't really do much for you? Not really?
Yeah, look, I think he was there, but it wasn't a major influence for me. So I guess, you know, I'm familiar with quite a few of the tunes, but I would have been, Beatles was for sure something that really engaged me from a younger age, and some of Paul McCartney's solo stuff. one of the first LPs I got was a Wings record that my dad bought me in the late 70s, which was sort of a pretty warm kind of hard rock sort of sound, mixed in with a bunch of other stuff. So, but from an Elvis perspective, for sure, I love the tunes. And I think one of the jam nights, one of the first jam nights I did, we did a sort of bent version of an Elvis tune, which was good fun. So I love it. But yeah, it's if I was talking about musicians that I was really into and obsessed by, there'd be others that I'd probably gravitate to first.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, everyone, what was the first album you bought with your own money?
Me?
He hasn't done that yet.
A band called the Venetians. It's an Aussie band, sort of synth and then guitar rock sort of mixture together. Yeah, so that was the first one I bought. Yeah, and I think the Angels' greatest hits wasn't far behind that. So the first version of the Angels ones, which had all the early stuff on it on LP.
I've just got Jacob in the background. Is that all right to swap one of you out for a bit, and I'll swap you back in? Oh, you want to go? Or?
Well, you can jump me out if you want. I've got kids that I could probably put to bed. So.
Oh, okay.
Good luck with that.
Well, thank you for popping on. But do you just want me to leave the connection in the background? If you come back, I'll see you.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay. There you go.
There we go, Jacob.
Hello, there you going?
Oh, there he is. Hey.
How you going? Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, man. Yep.
Yeah, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah, it's been going.
You've been writing some music? You've been writing some music?
I have, yeah, but this whole COVID, I've been going insane because this whole thing and
yep.
But writing some stuff. I actually got some CDs out today, so.
Oh, cool. What's the name of your act? What's the name of the act? What's the name of the act? Jabco.
Yeah, man.
Very, very good. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, so I got those done today, so.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Cool. Well done.
Cheers. Yeah, thank you.
And have you been influenced by Elvis?
Elvis? A little bit, no, previously, but yeah, he's cool. He's cool.
Okay, fair enough. And Pete, what are some other influences with your drumming? Like, who did you look up to when you were a young whippersnipper snapper? I just made up a new word, whippersnipper snapper.
Yeah,
very creative.
Nobody actually influenced me as a drummer because I've been all of those. Because it's such a it's a bit of an opaque instrument on its own. I was more interested in the music and what was going on behind the scenes. As I said, I loved Clapton, but the last gentleman mentioned Gene Pitney. That sort of era brought out people like Roy Orbison, and so guys that had really, really strong, fabulous, unique voices, backed by a bit of blues, or even not so much blues, even some really good songs, was just a joy of being involved in the sort of 70s into the 80s, I guess. Yeah. And there's a fabulous clip of Roy Orbison called Black and White, I think it's called, if you can get hold of it. There's a video of it. And it's got a sprinkling of famous musos in the band. It's done in a studio, and Elvis's drummer is drumming in it. Katie Lang is in the backup vocals. J.D. Souther is in there. Anybody who's is sprinkling in the band, and if you're into sort of muso history, it's a fabulous thing to watch. Anyway, he was a bit of an influence because I love the stuff that he did. You listen to Roy Orbison sing today, and you go, well, how does he get that note? And then he goes about another octave higher, and you go, well, how does he get that one? Then he goes higher again. So, it's brilliant.
So the singing influenced your drumming?
Well, it does, yeah, to a certain extent. And what I do like to watch, and I often discuss it with Doug and Don too, Nichols and Steve, that you know, the whole song, the whole knowledge of the song and the interpretation and how, you know, I know, Don, we've talked about this, that there's a responsibility even when you get up in the jam to try and make that song, you know, come out pretty well the way it should come out. Not necessarily your interpretation, but, you know, give it some honour, if you like, and give it some respect. Olive oil is good with respect. And I think we do that. I think we do that nicely at the jam. Not all the time, but I think, you know, the jam nights I've seen and the discussions. I love the discussions, and I love getting up on stage, of course, and contributing to the night.
Yeah, and what about you, Steve?
The good thing about the jams, well, for me, man, personally, why I play guitar, well, really, what really got me going was probably the first time I heard LaGrange. I was 13 or 12 years old or something, heard LaGrange. And that was it. For me, Mr. Gibbons' guitar tone, man, sold me. I was going to be a rock star. And, you know, so, yeah, that's probably the first song that really made me listen to it. Yeah, and Golden Earring and, you know, like Radar Love, that sort of stuff. That was... For me, that was guitar-driven music. And I wanted to play guitar. That was it. So, yeah, first album I ever bought, man, it's probably it was Kiss Destroyer, and Led Zeppelin, Houses of the Holy. I think were the first two albums I ever bought with my own money. Then I got Tres Hombre, you know, ZZ Top, and then I had like a back collection of Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin,
beautiful,
and Thin Lizzy, man. Dueling guitar.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, phenomenal. Bass player with a haircut.
Yeah, man. And even Status Quo. The only band that can write 3 million songs on 3 chords. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fantastic, though.
I know. It's unbelievable. It's cool. So, yeah, that was probably my really early influences, man. Even like Richie Blackmore when he left Deep Purple, man, formed the band Rainbow with Ronnie James Dio. What a friggin' voice, man. Like,
yeah,
that was phenomenal. Unbelievable. And I still, one of my albums today, still one of my favourites, Black Sabbath album was when Ronnie started singing For Those Guys. And like Children of the Sea, man, that is an amazing song. Like, phenomenal song. You know, it's just, yeah, I love all that stuff. And modern-wise for me, Whitesnake, far out, man, David Coverdale.
Whitesnake, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, phenomenal voice. But the guitar players like Doug Ulrich, who now plays guitar for the Dead Daisies, he's my hero, man. Man, he can play. Phenomenal player. Unbelievable. So, and Satriani, man, in the 80s, I got into him quite a fair bit. And I channel him every now and then. But, you know, I think your taste evolves. You never forget your original root. You just keep adding layers to it. And I think with you, Pete, like you're saying about doing songs, doing them honour at the jam night. I'm not, and I never have been, never will be a note for note artist. I'm not a mimic. I spent most of my life, man, playing my own material, and unfortunately, that doesn't make money. So you got to do covers. But for me at the jam, man, for me it's an opportunity to, you've got to pay tribute to the song. You've got to do it justice. But at the same time, you put your own stamp on it. That's what I like, man. Experimentation within a certain guideline. That's what I like.
Yep. Well, we certainly get that.
Well, mate, the last thing I did with Don, we had a set list, and I think by the time the third set came around, it's like throw that in the bin. We just added stuff. One song become four. Like we did, I don't know, 3 or 4 different medleys of stuff. It just blended into something else, and off we go. And that was great because we all just fell into it. Like we just followed whoever was taking the lead. That's cool, man. I love that stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice when you get that flow. You know what I mean? When you're playing with a bunch of guys and there's that extra buzz to it because you kind of everybody's kind of going, right, where are we going now? There's nothing communicated verbally, but it's all kind of going on while you're on stage. And I think that's part of the fun of the jam, I mean, it can go horribly wrong as well, right? But
once you get that organic thing going, it's all good.
Yeah, when it works and it's got its own little energy, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, that's the thing. You old Mr. freaking guitar shredder Doug. Like, I've played with him a lot, and you don't know what's coming from 1 minute to the next. And I love that, man. I really love, going off to the left a bit here and there, and then we all seem to come back where we're supposed to. That's cool.
So we've lost Doug. Have we? Who said something that wrong?
Something that offended him.
Hey? He'll be in the background.
Offended him. Did anybody offend a Stratocaster him?
That's all good. What was the first album you bought, Doug?
Oh, look, the first album I brought with my own money was Peter Frampton Performance, and I only know that because I was looking at it the other day. It was, Peter Frampton was sort of like a collection of live one. It's not the live album. I love the live album as well.
I had that.
My influences. What year did I buy it? Oh, shit, now you're going to tell my age. I don't know, be in the 70s sometime, I think.
Yeah, okay, yep.
I mean, my influences, it's really weird. My mum, when I was in my early teens, I think, maybe mid-teens, took me to see the movie The Last Waltz, which was the band, Bob Dylan's Electric Band, doing their farewell performance. And they had a whole bunch of guests. And Muddy Waters came out and and started doing Manish Boy. And as soon as that drum was going boom, 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 dun, 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 it was just, I just sat there going, what the hell is this? Because my mum was into Dylan, and my sister was pretty good, and her boyfriend, now husband, they were into Deep Purple and Uriah Heep and all of that. But there was something about that beat and taking that simple 1 or 2 chord tune and making it so soulful that stuck with me. And I didn't pick up a guitar for probably 5 or 6 years after that, like I didn't start playing. And then I got into people like Hendrix and Gary Moore when he was in his metal phase, like Emerald Isle videos, fantastic concert. And then he went to the blues.
I love that song.
Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, that was one that got me onto Gary Moore. Just the video of that, when he does that run up the neck, I thought, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
And then I got into Stevie Ray Vaughan. And then if you're into those guys, you need to swim upstream a little bit and realize that you're actually into Albert King and B.B. King and Albert Collins and all of those guys. So I love, what I love about the blues is, some music gets very technical and people are throwing in thousands of chords and notes, and that's the way that they make that a song. With the blues, I like that it is something simple, but to play it well, you have to put a hell of a lot of soul into it. And that's what turns me on. And for some reason, the blues just connected with me. I've been through hair metal, I've played in hair metal bands and all of that stuff when I was younger and all sorts of shit,
Can you send us a picture of that, Doug? That'd be great.
I'd like to see that.
I'll find one and I'll send it through to you. But, underneath it all, I realized when I got older, that was, I'm just playing the blues just a little louder and a little quicker than normal. So, yeah, so that's where my heart's at.
Okay.
I love the blues.
Sweet.
What about you, Jacob? We know you love Michael Jackson because I've seen quite a few fancy bloody dancing sessions with you on. But who were you? What made you pick up the keyboard?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about this, but I'd say the first kind of thing that it got me into. Oh, sorry. Now I just have to think.
No, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know, because there was a heap of things as kids. It was, Benny King. There was heaps. It was
You told me you love honky tonk piano.
Yeah, that's
cool.
it. Yeah, I do that a lot. I mean, like I was always like, I can talk. I was always into like early 1940s or 50s up to 80s. I was always into like all the old stuff because I always thought of what I'm hearing at the moment. I mean, like if it's like on the radio and like it just that came out, I was never into that because I always liked all the old stuff and yeah.
I think, man, like for me, like I love honky tonk piano. It's fucking cool. Like,
Yeah.
and there's an art to it.
Yeah.
You know, these days, mate, you got one finger chord keyboards. Like you don't need to play. It plays
Yeah,
itself.
yeah, it is like that, eh?
Plus, I guess
The
most
band,
of the
the
guys
band
that
had a
played.
brilliant pianist in it. The band had a great honky tonk player in it.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
band's
Cripple Creek.
musician. Yeah.
Mm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, honky tonk players, I'm guessing, didn't get any professional, like any structured training either. It would have all just been pick it up from hearing someone else playing from someone else playing and all that sort of just.
Yeah, like, and it's really old. I mean, like 1800s or something. Honky tonk. It's yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, they go nuts. Just a heap of stuff in one hand and a heap on the other. So yeah.
Well, you should pursue that, Jacob, because there's not a lot of people, particularly your age, that even register honky tonk as like you do, and B, have any sort of skills to play it. So then you should, pursue that. There may be a big place for you further down the track. In this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cheers. I mean, like, yeah, it's just Sorry,
No, I think it's good advice from Pete. I think, if you can find your own musical place a little bit, I think that's something we all kind of learn a bit as we go along. It's definitely a bit of a journey when you're learning music. And look, from my perspective, even coming to the Jam has been a real stretch outside of my normal comfort zone in some of the stuff that we've been able to do at the Jam night, and even with the band that Doug and I have been able to put together outside of it. But yeah, I think if that's the stuff that really gets you pumping, then keep going down that path. Even if it's not on trend. I think it's such a big part of performing the music is that when in my experience anyway, when you're really in the zone, when you really love what you're doing, and you're fortunate enough to play with some good musos, and I got to say, I'm really grateful for what the Jam night does in that space, because there's so many good players there and good people. But to be able to be in that zone where you're really loving what you're doing, there ain't much better, And it's that. No, I think it's something as a musician, a lot of us do. We, for want of a better expression, we kind of chase the dragon. Like once you've had that buzz and it, you're kind of searching for it. And when you do get that opportunity to link up with the right players, it's just dynamite. It's good fun.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate. We really are.
So where's Doug the John gone?
Oh, he's probably going to have a drink. Probably going to have gone to the fridge, go for a walk. You get that? Who knows? It's all good. How's your guitar playing going, Don?
Oh, well, that's why I call myself a singer.
That's why I call myself a guitarist.
My guitarist friends will tell you I'm a very good singer, So I actually started out playing drums and then and discovered and because Rob Hurst I was big time into. I was into the Oils back then, and the guy was just a machine on the drums, and but sort of reality struck after a little while, and I took up singing instead. So lucky for the rest of you.
Well,
in
you
terms
do
of
it
me
well.
not playing drums, I mean.
You do it well. No, you're born to be out the front, mate. You're a front line person. You do it well.
Look, I think it's like everything, isn't it, Pete? You learn it as you go. You know, you sort of learn your craft as you go. I was fortunate, and I think most of us have had these different experiences. I was fortunate enough to be in a concert band back in the early '90s for a few years. That was really successful. And again, it happened to be a bunch of guys that were good players. Musically, we did the songs really good justice, and that's why I think that's been so important to me over the years. But I was fortunate enough to be able to work some crowds and learn my chops that way. So. I think that really made a difference to, and Ty Coates, the same guy I talked about before, he's really influential in terms of, working on your stagecraft a bit, so that, when people come to see us musically, or certainly for me, musically, it's important that it's great musically, but I'm also there to watch the show, so, and engage. I think that's one of the really cool things about being a muso is you can engage with not only the other musos, but people in the audience, and you're having that unique experience. With them on that night, so there's, that's not going to be repeated, which is really cool.
Yeah,
that's a big part of it, mate. You really need to engage the audience and make them feel part of what's going on. That's how I think, anyway.
I think so too, Steve, because you can share that energy. Then you kind of go, "Isn't this cool? This is something we're doing together." This is not something we're up on stage and you guys are out there. Hey, this is something we're all doing together. And it's that's when it's fun, I think.
Yeah, man, there's so many. Talking about frontman, man, Dave Gleason, man.
Yeah.
Well, lucky man. He's awesome. He's got more energy than pain stick at.
Yeah.
But
I reckon I saw him at Springfield's one night, chock full of coke as well. It was that times 1,000.
Yeah.
But
he's man. How many bands you see that are musically on the money, like phenomenal musicianship, but they're as boring as bad shit to look at. Like they're just. Yeah, I'd rather be sounding pretty cool, but also entertaining.
I'd rather hear mistakes from people that are playing with passion than hear a perfect performance by robots. Like I like people that are getting into it, and if they make a mistake, they keep sailing through because that's all real, and I like that. I like that because I do it a lot, but I like it.
Thank you, brother. Welcome. Tell us about Elvis.
All right. I'm just gonna swap Troy back in. I'll be 1 second.
I'm going to step out, mate. I'll jump out for a second.
Yeah, I need to jump out as well, mate.
Okay, cool.
Put my little to bed and I'll come back later.
Okay, cool, man. I just put Troy in. There we go. How you going, Troy?
You've caught me sneaking a smoke in the garage.
Oops. Go say another jumper.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. No, awesome. It's amazing. It's amazing listening to you guys talk, and as everyone knows, particularly everyone on here that I actually know everyone that's on here, and you all know that I'm not a musician. I'm an enjoyer of great music. But Steve knows this because I sent him a message the other day. But the inspiration that you guys have given me, just over the last probably Steve over the last couple of years, but for some of you guys and Doug Marsden, for the last probably 12 months, 18 months, and Doug, mate, it was Doug DeJong. Awesome to meet you recently. But
thanks, man. You too.
I've always dabbled in music, and I've never been a musical person, and I've been pretty crap really. But it's not about the quality of what you do. It's about what it does for your mental health and what it does for you internally. And it's made me pick up my guitar again. And I sent this to Steve the other day, and I said, and I sent it to Tony as well, and said, well, hey, by the time the Muso's jam's up and running again, maybe I can get up there and belt something out,
Yeah, beautiful.
So you guys are inspirational, and I just want, you guys take for granted what you do. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but you're all very talented. And for those that watch you like I do, and I'm like the ultimate groupie when I come to the Muso night.
I want to see my knitted jumper, mate.
Yeah, bring it.
We all want knitted jumpers. All of us. Take a photo of this, Troy. Take a photo of this.
Bring 4. We'll join the band.
It's something, and Steve knows this, and I've spoken to him many times over the last few years, and it's what you guys do is amazing, like in your own bands and in your own creation. But when you do come together for the jam nights, like it's something quite incredible. It really is, and you see it for something quite incredible from something in a different way, because it's something where you guys are collaborating and doing different things. But for the average punter, it's amazing music. It's something you do not get when you just rock up to a live venue and you see a band. Like it is something that's just it's phenomenal. It really is, and everyone should be proud of anyone who's involved in that. And I look forward. Used to look forward to every Friday night, but
plenty of time for knitting, man. Plenty of time for knitting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Troy. Nice work.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that means a lot, sir. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah.
But
So,
it's like I said, it's not just me that you affect. It's everyone that walks into those places where you're performing, whether it's a jam night, whether it's a gig, whether it's what, like as a muso, sometimes you just think, oh, geez, it's a bit like when you do a wedding. The bride always goes, oh, well, that wasn't right, and the flowers weren't right, and this wasn't right. Who gives a shit? Like the punter is the one who's going, this is amazing, So, and hats off to everyone, So.
Yep.
Well said.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Troy, that's
Hey,
that.
I've heard you sing, you don't go too bad.
That's for you, Troy.
I said, I've heard you sing, you don't go too bad.
Yeah, cool. Well, we might just have one more round, and then we'll probably wrap it up at an hour and a half, which is a long one today. Sorry, I had to duck off. My brother was calling, so
cool.
had to sort out family business. So sorry about that. But I did. It was really weird having one headphone in and on the phone, and it's like, what the hell's going on? It was pretty hardcore. So what's any parting comments, maybe, Jacob? What are you going to look forward to when the jam comes back?
Well, I've actually got a new song in mind to perform once it's out on that. But yeah, I'm keen to make something of that. But not only just a performance, it's just like seeing everybody else there. So, like all the people you see there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just I'm going off my head, just sitting at home every week.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's good, man. Well, it's good that you've actually converted that time into an album, man. So congratulations.
Yeah,
as you said before. And what about Doug? What are you going to look forward to?
Thanks, James. I know it's only been a few weeks, but it's still
Troy rocks.
All of the good. Troy does rock. All the good jams and all the sort of great musos all seem a bit surreal, as if did that really happen or whatever. So I just want to get back in and make it all real again. And I mean, the jams are great for me, just for confidence, getting out, playing more and more. So you just get up and play, and I want to get back into that, so you don't lose any of that. So looking forward to it. I'm sure everyone is.
Yeah. And Peter, what are you looking forward to when the jam comes back?
Well, exactly what Doug said. That's exactly the same. But with this virus being locked away at home, I'm trying to go through the learning instruments from the alphabet. So I've done AF, so I've accomplished acoustic guitar. Now I'm going to go for my next instrument, which will be I'm into the bees, bugle.
Hang on, let me zoom in. Do that again, Pete. Do that again. I was zooming in. There you go. Oh my lord!
I'd move on to C pretty quick.
Yeah.
He sounded like Bergie the other night.
With well, congratulations, Pete.
I'm looking forward to getting back to live music if we can get there, and we do miss it. It's a tragic thing. I like what Troy said. I think he's really linked into where we're at, and we're missing that. Exactly what Troy says is exactly what everyone's missing. So
I agree.
We'll get there, and I'll bring the bugle along.
Yeah, Doug, you better take it off him. So, and then Troy, do you have anything else to add about what you're looking forward to when the jam comes back?
Oh, here we go. Whoa,
mate. And
what happens when you lock it away.
Like I said to you, you guys inspire me, and you inspire a lot of people. So, that inspiration unfortunately has been extinguished at the moment temporarily. But what I'm looking forward to when this comes back is just that that inspiration of I suppose of life and what music brings to people who people like me who aren't musical but get so much enjoyment out of it. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
And Steve, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, it sounds right. Well, chicken parma and a couple of scotches.
They're on me, Steve. They're on me.
Thanks, brother. Mate, yeah, it's just the interaction with all our mates, and it's just the environment itself. You can't beat it. So I was saying something, I think a message the other day on Facebook where once we can actually allow to mingle, might have to start doing a couple of house jams while we wait for the hotels to come back on board.
Yeah.
Take turns at throwing a barbecue and bring the boys around and make some music.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mate, we're in that, and and from my point of view, our entire club calendar has just been thrown into chaos at the moment. We normally raise so much money for charity over the years, over the year, through all our chapters, and we can't do anything at the moment. I can't even. I mean, last time I took my bike out, I was going to get a haircut. You wouldn't think, because it's, but it's one of those things that we're just chomping at the bit to actually have something happen. So I'll put it out there right now. Even if the pubs aren't open and we're able to mingle, let's get something together, because I've got about 200-300 people that are just chomping at the bit, looking for music. So yeah.
Hey, Marshall. Yeah. Well,
Sweet,
I just want to. Thanks, Marshall. There we go. And did you want to play anything, Steve, before play out, or?
Oh, it's all good, man. I think we give it a go before it didn't work out too well, did it?
Fair enough. Can you? There's Pete. Can you hear that? All right.
Yeah.
Is that too loud?
Yeah.
Bring out the cowbell as well.
Oh, let's see.
What's that? Sorry. C.
A C.
I can't even see that. Well, I did prepare something earlier. Yeah, but anyway, I think the whole compressor thing just overloads. It sounded really distorted there. But anyway.
There you go. There's a C.
Go the elbow, Troy. Go the elbow, Troy.
Oh, yeah. I've been working on new elbow tricks.
That's all you need.
Oh, here, do that again, Steve. Do that again. This is my new trick I've been working on. I don't know if you can see it. I just tipped that down a bit. So this is all in. Anyway, it's in progress. Yeah, I've got like a little 16th happening with my elbow. It's a true story.
Had to go along with the blues number
That could be the coronavirus blues.
Yeah. Nice slow blues.
Yeah. There we go. There we go.
There we go.
All right. Well, that's good. Well, I don't know if you can hear me while you're playing, but I do have an idea that I'll talk to you when we come off air in a second. But just want to say, hope you all being safe and well. And these chats. I just nearly made up a word that crossed between jamming and chats.
Doug's Dictionary.
What's that? Sorry.
Doug's Dictionary.
Yeah, I made up one the other day called audient. The singular person who listens to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Audient. Very, very creative.
I've played him.
But please stay on the line, everyone. Don't hang up. Don't hang up just yet. So and I'll just pull you off air here for a second. But thank you, everyone. So if you ever want to wave, but don't hang up yet, everyone wave. There we go. Cool. Cool. And here we go. Here we go. So thanks, everyone, for hanging around and tuning into the Gold Coast Musos Jam chat. And don't forget, on Saturday, I'm doing a live stream with a Parker Fly in Dorsey in New York. I'll be going live to New York. It'll be his Friday night, my Saturday morning. So tune in for that at Doug DeJong Music. And that'll be it. I'll see you all going again next time.